welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, X. I'm your host, Greg Mahashko. Joining me is my co-host, co-pilot, and wonderful friend, Ms. Minnie Hunt. Hello, Minnie. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great. It's beautiful here in Arizona, as usual. And, well, I heard you got a break in weather up there in Illinois.
We had it in the 60s this week.
Well, there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think the air currents go from Arizona to Southern Illinois, but well, if you want to take the credit, by all means,
I am. Yes.
So let's see here. Melissa is here, says hi everyone. Fred says evening folks. Nicholas Easton, evening everyone.
Oh, welcome.
Roger Moore says GBR. And Aaron Rostovsky says greetings from OKC on the way to Frisco, Texas for the baseball games.
That's going to be fun.
Look who's here in the comments. Our friend
Hi, Brian.
Past guest and probably future guest again, Draft Brian says GBR. We're going to talk a little bit about the Combine, and I'm sure if you want more great Combine coverage, make sure you check out youtube.com/draft_Brian, I believe. Brian does a great job following a lot of the draft build-up. So let's see. James Boardman's talking about weather and says afternoon walks all week. It was perfect. You know, Minnie, you'd be proud of me.
Why?
Yesterday it was 60-plus degrees. I ate dinner at a reasonable time, and I almost went on a walk last night. Like the thoughts are there. Like it we're gonna be doing some.
Why didn't you? Why didn't you?
Some walking.
I'm just curious. Why didn't you? What held you back?
Have you ever seen Ghostbusters?
The old one, yeah.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah.
You know where in the scene where Sigourney his character gets like abducted by the monsters, the hellhounds. You know, she's in the chair and all of a sudden, like, you know, the arms and legs come out and like grab her hands and legs and cover her mouth. That's what happened. I got swallowed up by my chair, and I was unable to move. So.
Well, Greg, I enjoy walks. Yes. And not all heroes wear capes. That is true. I enjoy walks and hikes.
I think it's good that the idea, like the idea of a walk is starting to enter my brain, you know, because when it warms up a little bit more, I'll be even more eager and ready and willing and out the door.
But okay, don't use the excuse that it's too warm then, okay?
I would never make excuses.
Hey, we have a lot of stuff going on. A lot.
So what you're saying is we don't want to dilly-dally with silliness?
I mean, I don't know how to overcome the silliness that you bring to the show, but yeah, let's get going.
Let's go.
So this guy, hold on, guys. Ty Robinson was at the NFL Combine today, and he ran a 40-yard dash in 4.83, and everyone's talking about him like, oh, is he the best kept secret in Nebraska? And then you said that he did another like amazing thing.
Correct. Let me get that for you because he had oh gosh darn it. Like his standing jump was really strong as well. It was like 9 feet 11 inches, something like that. So I apologize. It's not all. I don't want to say hype. I feel like sometimes, you know, hype can be given a negative connotation. So I don't want to say like all of the hype is. But you go to Google, you type in Ty Robinson Combine, it's all about the 40-yard dash. Even like the New York Jets are sharing the video, just to kind of give you an idea of, you know, I think it's interesting to see I don't necessarily think it's different. I think there are a lot of parallels when you have a high school kid who's highly touted, highly sought after, and he's being followed. God dang, by I'm gonna have to take a drink soon. Followed by various coaching staffs and things like that. Coaches from different schools. So I think it may be telling that the New York Jets shared the video. Although I wouldn't want any Nebraska Cornhusker getting drafted by the Jets at this point because the Jets are a mess. Okay. So Rostovsky said he missed the magical 10-foot mark for the broad jump. 9/11. So I was right. And he had a 33, I'm guessing and a half inch vertical as well. So
wow.
Good day for the measurables.
Well, everyone's freaking out because of his size. He's 6'5" and weighs 288 pounds. Greg, what do you weigh?
I'm just shy of 6'3" and about 245.
Oh, okay. So he's even bigger than you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. He
and you couldn't do anywhere near this. Could you?
No, if I started running, if we left the blocks for the 40-yard dash at the same time, I'd still be there.
You're still like, just considering going on a walk.
That's right. Not properly motivated.
Lunges were the extent of your exercise last year.
in 2024, right. So according to Nebraska's 247sports.com site, Ty dropped 10 pounds from his time at the Senior Bowl. 6'5", 288. That means at the Senior Bowl, he was almost 300 pounds.
Wow. Well, I think that extra muscle helped him. Seems like he put on more and dropped I don't know what the ratio is, but he looks lean, doesn't he?
It helps that he's not wearing the pads. His 40 time was the fastest among the first group of defensive linemen in the combine.
Hey, MK wants to know. Ty topped out at 17 miles per hour. What's Greg's top speed?
17 miles per month.
Greg, that does not sound good.
It
just doesn't.
I don't know if I've told the story of my home run trot before senior year of baseball.
Is it quick? Because we have a lot of ground to cover here.
Okay, bye everybody. Let's move on to the next thing. It's not a quick story. None of my stories are quick stories. You should know that.
Okay. Do you want to replace it with something?
Nope. I'm slow. That's the story.
How about you take care of number 2?
I'd have to leave and go upstairs for about 10 minutes. Take care of number 2. But never mind. All right. Well, let's do that. Number 2, we're bringing it back. And we're bringing it back because the numbers indicate that we need to. And number 2 is housekeeping. So it's a great time for me to remind you to, especially if you're on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the Coronation YouTube channel, and make sure that you ring that bell for notifications so you never miss a new stream, a new upload. What are you doing?
Well, the lighting is just like shadow. See that shadow? It's weird.
It is a weird shadow, but I think it has more. Okay. It's just a 2-tone shirt. So
it's this. It's only 2-tone on my sleeves. The color.
Anyway, subscribe to. We have been stuck at 10,800 and change subscribers for a long time, and we really want to get to that 11,000 mark. I don't know what'll happen when we get there, but just tell your friends. There are plenty of Husker, forums and whatever out there. Let them know about the fun that you have over here being part of this fan family. Also, because we haven't done it in a while, largely because he hasn't been here. That's not his fault. We're not mad. But John has some books out, like this one, Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. My copy is It's not lost in the mail. I'm pretty sure it's in this box over here. Or lost in the mail, lost in the move. I think it's in this box over here, but it's not here in front of me to be. Here's my copy. But John has been dead, never been to Europe, and he's written a few other books as well. So make sure you check them out. They're on Amazon, and they're also on copycorn.com. And speaking of copycorn.com, get your sweet copycorn merch, stickers, etc. And join our YouTube as a member, because that's what John would want to happen. And I was right. Draft_Brian for Brian Johans.
Oh, because that's the last time we had that up there. You changed it.
Probably.
Yeah.
And last but not least, back by popular demand, because one of you lucky people want to know, what is tonight's beer? So you know what we have to do, right, Minnie?
I do.
What's Greg drinking today? What's Greg drinking today? Whoa. What Greg is drinking today should come as no surprise to any of you. And that is
why we even have that. Maybe we shouldn't play that again until you drink something different.
Why would I drink a lesser beer?
I don't know. Is there nothing else?
Oh no, there is. I'll find some. I'll try to mix it up. I'll try to mix it up.
Look at Kaylee's. Oh, this is awesome. She says, sorry to change the subject. You're going to switch it up, the beers.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. Kaylee says, for reference, Sue did a 5.07 40-yard dash, 35.5 vertical, and 8-foot 9-inch broad jump. Wow. That's slower, right? A little
That's
slower,
how time works, yeah. By almost a full second. And less than a foot, or I'm sorry, greater than a foot, a difference in the broad jump, and only had him beat in the vert by 2 inches.
Wow.
So yeah, Kaylee did some fantastic Greggling.
Thank you.
All that info, so we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that, now that we've covered housekeeping, we can move on to part 3.
Okay. Well, that is that we got a new GM.
Yes, Joseph's absolutely right. My drinking directly affects my 40 time. I'll tell you what, it has a very positive impact on my bowling game until I get to that third pitcher. And then my bowling game starts to go downhill. Same with golf. So, you know.
Okay.
New general manager.
New general manager. That's right. And I know this is especially one of your favorite topics because it's one of your favorite teams. We got Pat Stewart from the New England Patriots as of Wednesday, yesterday. And he served as New England's Director of Pro Personnel in 2024. He also worked for the Patriots from 2007 to 2017 in a scouting role. At the heart of Bill Belichick's dynasty, your favorite. How do you feel about that?
I don't know if I think my biggest question is, are we going to suddenly become much better at cheating, because that's all they do in New England?
Greg,
what?
Do you really think that he had anything to do with that?
No, you're right.
Maybe is it proven that they cheat? Is it really?
Like they were fined. I think either Belichick was at one point. They lost draft picks, I believe, after one of the Super Bowls.
Oh no!
And Robert Kraft, I think, had a pretty significant fine as well. So.
Oh, yeah, that sounds. Yeah. Well, he left New England to become a national scout for Philadelphia from 2018 to 2019. And in 2020, he was named the director of player personnel for the Carolina Panthers under Rhule. That's the connection.
Now
he was promoted to vice.
Handing yes man.
Yes.
Damn it.
No. I don't think so. He was promoted to vice president of player personnel in 2021 before his return to the Patriots in 23. So, guys, the thing is, we already had a general manager. We don't know what our old general manager's role is going to be, but perhaps it's going to be an assistant general manager because of all the changes in college football. Maybe we need an assistant, right? They manage the teams, players, the contracts, the daily operations. There's a lot going on.
Carl wants to know if
Recruiting.
Spygate and Deflategate ring a bell with you, Minnie.
Why?
Because these are, it's bad when your cheating starts to have like names. And those were both.
Those were names?
Those are, if you Greggle Spygate, it'll have the, I want to say 2003, don't hold me to that, Super Bowl matchup between the St. Louis Rams and the Patriots, where allegedly the Patriots, some people in their organization were filming the Rams walkthrough ahead of the Super Bowl. So,
oh no!
And then Deflategate was when they were taking air out of the footballs on a cold Super Bowl to, I think it was the Super Bowl.
You've got to be kidding me!
So Baby Brady could have better grip on the football.
That is unbelievable! I can't believe they did that. Are you sure? This is for sure. This is proven.
They lost draft picks.
People just, they make up stories. Our imagination runs wild. Once we hear one thing.
When did you become a Patriots apologist? That's what I want to know.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I don't believe everything that comes out on the internet.
Well, then you are, I don't know. Let's see. Nicholas Easton says, I think the scouting background could be quite beneficial for help with recruiting.
Good point, Nicholas. I actually agree. Yes.
Kaylee says, picking up Stewart sounds like a business decision, establishing a dynamic front office.
Oh, Kaylee. She is just, you're priceless, Kaylee.
And my favorite in this new GM situation, Pitt Snipe Husker says, considering Stewart's honorable service on the Starship Enterprise, his resume is hard to scoff at.
What?
I knew you weren't going to get that reference. The actor Sir Patrick Stewart played Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. Star Trek: The Next Generation, and several theatrical releases. And I think he was back recently for a show on not Discovery, but one of the other streaming apps just called Picard. So now we have Patrick Stewart. I'll tell you what, I'd rather have Patrick Stewart in the front office than Tony Stewart. And some of you old NASCAR fans, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, Greg,
yes.
All I know is sometimes they're changing rules so much, maybe there's a blurred line there. Perhaps.
Okay.
Could it have been blurred? Could the mistakes have been just unintentional mistakes?
Are you talking about the Tom? Are you talking about the
Spygate and the Deflategate? Yeah.
Let's see. Rostowski says that the Patriots was running. They said it was completely unintentional. James Boardman says Tom Brady has shrunken balls.
So there you
go.
go.
And let's not forget about the tuck rule that was in the AFC Championship game between the Patriots and the Raiders that first year that they went to the Super Bowl. It was Brady going back for a pass. The ball was dislodged, I believe, and they said they ruled it an incomplete pass instead of a fumble that was recovered by the Raiders. Yeah. So it's just too many asterisks running around there for me to give them any credit. I don't like them.
Plus, you're ticked off because they must have done something to your dear Stillers.
I feel like we talked about that last week, didn't we?
I don't remember what you said. Something about they never beat them. Is that right?
Something like that. Carl backing me up says they lost draft picks. The Patriots were fined for both scandals, and Belichick was also fined. So,
it was an accident, though. We're moving on.
Kaylee says that Sean Padden is moving to the role of assistant athletic director for strategic intelligence, which I think will allow him to focus on scouting, especially since he just got us great recruiting classes. So
yeah, he did. Good point.
I think I need to step aside and just like you and Kaylee do the show because I feel dumb sitting here reading these comments.
Well, she's a very smart lady. She, it's okay, Greg. Greg, did you know several big-time college football programs have made GM hires this offseason as well?
Tell me more.
Alabama, North Carolina, and Oklahoma. They've all found GMs during the offseason.
Really?
We were ahead of the ball.
We tend to be.
Because we did this last season. Do you want to take a guess as to what the salaries look like for a GM now?
At the college level?
Yeah, and remember, this is just kind of a made-up role because of the NCAA rules, right?
Right.
Okay. We didn't need this before.
So, let's see. Well, if Marcus Satterfield is making $1.3 million, right?
Okay.
I would say that a GM would have to be making comparable. I'd say in that 1.4 to 1.7.
Yeah, similar. Alabama, Courtney Morgan has a 3-year deal for $825,000, and a longtime NFL executive, Michael Lombardi, will make $1.5 million annually as North Carolina's GM under Belichick. Sorry, he keeps being brought up. I know.
Do what?
He keeps being brought up.
Oh,
Bill Belichick.
I just think it's funny that you said under Belichick, but like you would think that the GM would be over the head coach.
I kind of feel like it's not. I feel like it's a different. I feel like the head coach has got to be at the top, and then the GM is like over here in charge of all the contracts and recruiting, and like that has its own parent company or subsidiary, and then you have the coaches. 12 across the board. 12. No, I guess you would only have a head coach first. Now we have an associate head coach. So then there's another tier. And now we have a, I wonder, do we still have an associate offensive coordinator?
I don't.
A co-offensive, because that was Glenn Thomas. Remember? The quarterback's coach. That was what his title was last season. And we have a defensive coordinator, and we now have a special teams coach. So all of those guys, and then the other assistant coaches under that. I mean, it's a major ordeal. It's a major business.
It is a crap ton of money too.
Yeah.
Shelling out all these contracts. So, oh well, it's not my money. It's the football program's money.
True.
So, all right, Well, moving on. I think we've squeezed just about all we can squeeze out of that.
Well, but I did have a question just regarding it. What do you think? What do you think hiring all these GMs does to the smaller schools?
Define smaller school, like group
Like
of five,
yeah,
like East Carolina or something.
Yeah.
UCF.
Do you think
I think the divide is only going to grow between the haves and the have-nots in college football. There may be some smaller schools that have, influential donors who can buoy up their programs to get them the general managers or things like that, and kind of close that gap. But I think we're really going to start to see a lot less parity in the sport. So,
I agree. It's going to be definitely the haves or have-nots. There's not any real middle class, if you will, in college football.
Right.
That's all it used to be, sort of. But yeah, changes are strange.
Fred says, I'm sorry, but I can't see the non-Power 5 school saying, oh, gee, we don't have a GM. That's what we need to win. Only time will tell. I mean, so we mentioned Nebraska, Alabama, North Carolina, and Oklahoma for GMs. I'm sure those aren't the only ones. Those are maybe just making the hires this offseason.
Yeah.
Or, this week or whatever. Maybe I'm sure there are a lot of programs who don't feel they need that much. I don't want to say oversight. That's not what I mean. But, that they feel like they can operate still. Like, I don't foresee Iowa getting, and that's probably a bad example because we like to shit on Iowa, but I don't foresee them running out and hiring a GM anytime soon. Only time will tell if the GM position is, I don't know, worth it. If they are as valuable as.
Well, it seems like everything that we're doing is setting a precedent. So.
Well, yeah, that's sure a very nice segue into our next topic, Minnie, if you want to take us there.
Oh, sure. Spring games. Yeah. Coach Rhule went and did an interview this week. He did it with Urban Meyer. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh.
I knew he was on the Pat McAfee show this week.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Today.
Oh my gosh, he's everywhere. So everybody wants to know, you started this thing with no spring games and it makes sense. And other college football teams, they're following in your footsteps, Greg. And so USC and Texas, they canceled their spring games. But there was some chatter about what Nebraska's spring game might look like. And one of the things I saw, which I am all for, is some ex-Huskers coming back and doing a game. Did you see that? Will Compton was like, I'm all for that.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun to see, but at the same time, guys who are 35 to 40 plus who haven't put on pads in, sometimes in a decade or more, I don't know, maybe not full contact. There would be entertainment value to it, but gosh dang, I don't want anybody of these guys to get hurt. Their bodies aren't calloused to the contact. They'd have to modify the game. They'd have to do like flag football or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would have to be flag football, but also, I mean,
so do walks, Mr. Ostoski. So do walks. He says falling down hurts when you're over 30.
Okay. Or they even talked about doing women's football, flag football.
That'd be fun too.
Yeah, actually, I think it would be. We were the first to do a girls' flag football camp last season last summer. So I could see that. I think it would be fun. It would be fun to have the women athletes, like the Harper
Oh, yeah,
Murrays, and wouldn't that be fun?
that'd be fun. As long as they're not in
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
which basketball would be done, volleyball, unless they were beach or sand volleyball players. You probably get a lot of track athletes. They're, or whoever else wanted to participate on campus,
Yeah.
James Boardman says the spring game will be replaced by a petting zoo. Minnie, I hear Dylan is in a pen. Yeah, with his llama hair.
All right, you guys. There's news on Dylan. Just FYI. Just hold on.
Oh, I've got news that's going to make Minnie very sad, but we'll get to that later in the show.
What?
Well, I've got to get I don't have the image ready because I failed at my job.
Okay. All right.
I'm working on it. You take us there. Alpaca. Gosh dang it. Sorry, Pitt.
Excuse me.
I said llama.
I want to know. Kaylee asks a great question. If they shut down the late spring portal window, do you think they would bring back the spring game?
The transfer portal is just the name, but at any point, realistically, any of these kids can, unenroll in school A and enroll in another school. I don't know. I don't know what the institutions can really do to stop that. I know there was talk, I guess one of the schools got, I can't remember, was it Iowa? I don't know. There was one school that was like, no, they're blocking Wisconsin. Wisconsin was blocking a transfer portal guy trying to leave the program and go to Miami or something like that, and they were blocked. So I just don't know. Interesting question, Kaylee. I don't have the answer for that. I'm sorry.
So the transfer portal window is only like 10 days, 9 days, something like that in April, the end of April. When would it be? I mean, I think it just should be after they're done with school, period. Does that make sense to anybody else? I mean, if they had it after the spring session is up, and anyone could transfer, you can take official visits, you can do all that. It just seems like that would make a whole lot of sense to me.
I think you get into a very small window, like waiting for school to be out. A lot of classes don't dismiss until May, middle of May, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have June and July.
I guess. That's not me.
2 whole months.
Yeah, you're right. Of course you're right. What am I saying? I know better. I'm so stupid.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm going to be ridiculously tough on myself for the rest of the night because I'm letting everybody down. I'm just letting everybody down.
No, I think you're doing fine.
Well, you're about to be disappointed with what I'm about to show you.
Oh, no. Greg, come on. What?
Minnie, I don't know if you've heard, because I know you don't follow the NFL, and you know how these things typically trickle down, the rule changes and things like that. And I know once upon a time, you told the story famously about how you tried to get on the chain gang down in Arizona so that you could be closer to a particular alpaca-headed quarterback.
Yes.
But the days of the chain gang are going to be going away, so you might want to get your Lincoln, Nebraska chain gang certification in as soon as you can. This news from the NFL earlier this week, the chain gang, son of a biscuit, chain gang going to be replaced with electronic measurement.
Well, I did hear about this. One, I remember having a conversation on this show with somebody that I said, why don't they have like some sort of GPS in a football? because I mean, you can put GPS, like, you can say where something is, follow it pretty easily with a computer. I just don't understand why that
Well,
has
where would you put the GPS piece?
Okay, so just thinking out loud, just spitballing here, but why couldn't like some sort of like technology thread be like sewn into the football, like the pigskin? Um,
Yep.
that's what I was thinking. So
MK says slap
this
an air
doesn't
tag
surprise
on the
me.
ball.
I mean, sort of that way, yeah.
I mean, you can't, and I know this is not in the format, so I apologize. Minnie's not wrong. We
It's
have a
okay.
lot to do, but it's all about what part of the football crosses the plane, right? But so I don't know if you put it the wrong side of the football.
No, you just have it like because the pigskin, the way it's shaped, isn't it like several pieces? So you just sew it. I'm just saying, like it seems like it would be a lot easier than, and really technical minds could come up with something.
Well, you got to go back 20. Let's see, gosh, we're in 2025 now. Damn near 30 years. The NFL put a chip. I'm sorry, not the NFL. The NHL put a chip in the puck, like for an all-star game or something. So you had a glow puck, that you could kind of lit up around as it was hit around the ice.
Yeah.
But that was less predicated on having again a certain part of the puck crossing the crease. I don't know. This is all just kind of let in as a joke. The physical chains are going to be there on the sideline as a backup. But I was more or less saying, Minnie, your time is running out to get on a chain gang. So,
I thought of that. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank
Sorry,
you for
everybody.
the heads up.
I derailed the whole damn show to try to make a joke, and it didn't.
It's okay, Greg. Because guess what? You're also, hey, come back.
I'm here. What's up?
It's number 5, and this is your section.
Yeah. Men's basketball is going to be back in action on Saturday, and they're going to be taking on Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Fred Hoiberg, he says we're going to treat it like any other game. Which means...
even though they really need to start winning these games.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
What it means is that we hope to see more of these dry erase boards intact and looking less like the dry erase boards that Fred Hoiberg has been damaging here as of late. So,
well, I think the damaged whiteboard is the reason that we won that game.
Well,
because he lit the team on fire after that.
So what you're saying is that this could be... I can't even fit my head through there. There we go.
No.
By the way, I'm really glad I didn't try to break this with my head because I'd probably be unconscious right now.
Oh my gosh, really?
It hurt. It hurt quite a bit. And you'd have been like, it's 9 o'clock, it's 9:05, it's 9:30. Greg's not here yet. We need to get a wellness check on Greg.
Yeah. So Aaron Rostowski says, this is the must-win game of the year. Yes, but they're going to treat it like it's any other game.
It's like, so I was listening to a little ESPN out of St. Louis today, and they were talking about the Blues coming out of the Four Nation tournament. And, the Blues have not been good this year. If anybody who follows hockey knows. But the consensus between the guys on the show were the playoffs for the Blues, they don't start in April. Like if they want a chance of even making the playoffs, they need to play like every game is an important playoff, win or die situation. And that's honestly about where Nebraska men's basketball is as well. They're too inconsistent. They're too streaky. And like Melissa said, they play good defense. They just can't make the shots, excluding Bryce. So
that is so odd that they are that limited on making those shots. I don't know.
Let's see. Nicholas Easton. Nicholas, yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Can I call you Nick? I don't want to offend you. I don't want to shorten your God-given name. But Nicholas is...
No, Minnie. What? What did I say?
I don't know. Anyway,
sorry.
Men's basketball super inconsistent, and it's unfortunate. And then MK says, more likely to mess up Saturday, the team or the fans trying to execute a red-white stripe out. I'll be honest with you. I have zero confidence in a red-white stripe out at PBA. It's not.
That just sounds so confusing. There's so much coordination that needs to happen for that to take place.
Because nobody pays attention. You know, everybody's going to want to wear red anyway. Just wear red.
Yeah. Red and white.
Absolutely can call me Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Appreciate you.
Okay. So that's what happened when Greg tried to punch a hole through the whiteboard. We had to practice whiteboard. And it was too small, I guess. But we did want to see if it could happen. And Greg has a theory that it could have happened based off of Hoiberg's size of his whiteboard. Because it was much bigger.
I think, a 10-inch by 10-inch or something like that whiteboard. So what it is the surface of the whiteboard. Here, allow me. Oh, come on. So this part here is too close to the border, and therefore structurally it's very sound. It's very sound. But if it were double or even, dare I say, triple in size, that allows a weaker spot in the middle in this area here that would allow for more force going through. And it's corrugated cardboard, which is kind of a pain in the ass of a material anyway. So kudos to Fred Hoiberg. He's more of a man than I.
And James Boardman says 5-heart physics. Yes, we wanted to prove that it could happen, but we failed.
And Rostovsky says the whiteboard coach punched was a 6-foot whiteboard screwed into the wall, not a clipboard style. Yeah, but I don't need a 6-foot whiteboard with a hole in it. Hold on. Always got to clean up your messes. But I tell my boys, clean up your toys, clean up after yourself, figure out how to wipe your butt, the basics.
Thanks, Fred. He says, James Boardman, more like 5-heart general math. Guys, I didn't think that through when I ordered them, okay?
Fred also says, Minnie just covertly said Greg's got a giant melon. Do I have a big... Is it? I don't know.
I didn't say that.
They don't charge me extra at the barbershop for a haircut. Based on the service area.
Extra handling fee? You don't have an extra handling fee at the barbershop?
I do not. Nope. Just a flat rate plus a tip. So
that would ruin. Yeah. That would seriously give me a major complex if I were you.
All right. Somebody's making changes to the format during the show, so now I don't know what I'm doing. Minnie, take us wherever we're going.
Okay, so associate head coach Phil Snow and wide receiver coach Daquille Shorts Jr. and what?
I'm very confused. Talk about him being distracted. Pitt says, I'm distracted. My brother and I are trying to decide how to smoke and prepare our mom's dog. BRB. What?
I don't even want to know. Why is that even brought into discussion?
Kaylee, says, Minnie, you didn't need to say it. Greg is known as Sniper's Dream. I don't.
Greg, maybe it's because you lean so far in. You're like
I do.
in our personal space, okay?
Right, fine. I'll sit back. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, but now you're blurry. What's wrong with like... Okay, better. Perfect. Yeah, but we only see this far up. Can you move the camera down a little? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. So much better. Yeah. You're getting it. Great. Yep.
Cool. All right. Where are we going next, everybody?
It's either leaning forward or leaning back. No in between. No in between.
There.
Oh, poor Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
I mean, poor Greg.
That's okay. That's so better than Carl's comment. Carl says, go ahead and take your shirt off, Greg. I can hear you better, bare chest. That's, no, I'm not going to say it because I know this group, and I'm just not going to say it. It's best for everybody if I keep that one to myself. Thank you.
Okay, good. So they took the podium on Wednesday. Kind of nice because we haven't heard anything about football from, official stuff. First person to take the podium is associate head coach Phil Snow. This is where he talked about how he's been he was questioned how he's been a defensive coordinator before, but he's not going to be the defensive coordinator here. He said it is Butler's defense. But his role is going to be more like he's rotating around and helping other coaches, and he has an eye on everybody. They're going to utilize a lot of Tony White's defense. I think they were saying that to be kind of kind. And he said, but also change the defense so that it fits the guys that we have on the roster, which makes perfect sense.
Well, and I've credited the mayor, Hoiberg, for doing that as well. When he first got here, he wanted to try to cram his system into the guys he had on, and that was not the best fit. So he eventually had to adapt, make some changes, and adjust things on the fly. And I've credited Matt Rhule and company for, and maybe if you look back at the last 2 years where we're 12 and 13, maybe I was giving them too much credit, but I thought they've been doing a good job of adapting to the personnel that they had. But if they're going to take that next step, I don't find any fault with it. And you're right, they didn't. There's nothing inherently wrong with the 3-3-5. I like the 3-3-5's versatility because I think we saw a lot last year. You still had 4 linemen with defensive linemen with their hands on the ground, so you can still do a lot. I don't think you need to necessarily whole hog abandon what Tony White implemented, but you have to put the John Butler mark on it. You have to it has to be his own. It has to, and again, fit the guys that are here in Lincoln. I say here, I'm in Belleville. They're in Lincoln, guys who are on the team, and make sure that they are comfortable running this defense, this scheme, and these plays. So
this guy came out of retirement for this.
Yeah.
And he said something that I was kind of surprised to hear, and I don't know why, but he said he wants to coach football. That's the reason why he came out of retirement. I I thought it was more to take, more of a backseat role and just kind of help behind the scenes, but that is not it at all. He's going to be involved every single week with gameplay and scheming. And he also said, when you look at everything that we did last season, we're good. But he said it is imperative to improve on third downs. And so they will be adding wrinkles on third down. How many times could we not just get off of the field on a third down? It seemed like forever.
Yeah, and Rostovsky kind of highlighting what you're saying. First and second down will be very similar. It's the third down package that will get exotic.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said waits for Fred's comment because he said package and or exotic. And let's take to show up 51 minutes in. BFOTS Josh Hansen. What I miss? So far, you've missed 51 minutes of the show. Go back and watch it. So.
Hi, Josh. Welcome.
Josh, so we didn't talk about it. My twins turned 4 this past Sunday, and Josh's little girl turned 4 on Monday. So our kids were born, 3 out of our 5 collective children, which there's no easy way to say that or make sense of it, but they're born a day apart. So we always celebrate at the end of February.
That's awesome.
So again,
happy birthday to both of your 3 out of 5 kids.
Yeah, it doesn't. The math doesn't math on that, but that's okay.
Those poor 2 out of the 5 kids.
Oh, he says, hello all was bath night. Well, we're glad you got a bath, Josh. It's been a while.
All right. So also, this is the first time that I found out that Snow and Rhule and White all crossed paths at UCLA, and Deshaun Foster as well.
Interesting.
I know. I'm thinking, remember when I did that bubble diagram and I researched everything. Who is related to who and how everyone knows each other. The one person I couldn't figure out on that bubble diagram was Tony White. I figured he must have been referred to Rhule by somebody. Well, he also knew him from UCLA, and I didn't know that. So there you go. I know. It's like these little nuggets.
And as they said in the 80s, knowing is half the battle.
They said that?
Yeah, it was at the end of G.I. Joe. Okay. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
Okay. Well, I didn't catch that.
You didn't probably watch a lot of G.I. Joe in the 80s. Or ever.
Surprisingly, I did not. No.
Cartoons back in the day, Minnie, they used to be great. They used to have action and adventure, and then they come out and tell the kids like a little moral and help educate kids. That's what's wrong with the world today. The cartoons, they don't have a moral of the story at the end.
They don't?
They don't have a little lesson. No, it's all about like teamwork and building one another up, and that's not how real life is.
I like teamwork. Okay.
There's
collaboration. That is how real life is.
Let me tell you this. You watch 3.5 weeks of Spidey and Friends nonstop with a couple of 4-year-olds, and you'll be ready to. I'm a huge nerd. You'll be ready to burn down Spider-Man.
Really?
I couldn't take it anymore. We had to make a change. All the shows now are about just all these little characters getting along, and nobody punches anybody. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I've tried to turn on some older cartoons like Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny and Wile E. Coyote for my kids. And first of all, they're not interested. But second of all, those are like
fun,
scary. No, they're scary.
What?
There's like blood and guts, and people are dying every
Looney Tunes?
time. Yes.
No, I don't think we're watching the same Looney Tunes.
Okay. Well, Anyways, Da'Keil Shorts Jr. also took the podium. He's the wide receivers coach.
He is. Came here from Kentucky.
He did. And he talked about how he has so much respect for Holgorsen. And he even told us about a vacation they went on. The vacation was to Florida, Destin, Florida. I think they may have gone to Fort Lauderdale, but they also went to Key West.
Okay. How is this relevant to Husker football?
Well, it's just an interesting story. Number one, because they met. That's where he and Holgorsen met up with Mike Leach.
So it wasn't this off season.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But does that not sound like the best vacation of all time?
You want to go vacation with Mike Leach? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I mean, I can't.
I could just. So I wondered always where he got this pirate fascination from. Well, down there in the Keys. That makes sense.
I don't know much about the Keys.
Well, I'm just saying, like.
I mean, like, is it probably? It's part of Florida, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard recently that it was like its own country, so the rules don't apply down in Key West.
They don't really. Right. You're kind of right about that.
Make them up. Making up your own rules as you go along. It's a good time.
Okay. So, yeah. So Fred knows. He says, I passed out on the beach in Destin, Florida during spring break. So I'm told. That's what kind of happens down there. Those types of things.
Aaron says, Minnie, we have too much to get to tonight. Also, Minnie, did you know Coach Shorts likes to vacation in Fort Lauderdale?
Well, I happen to love Florida. It's like my favorite state in the U.S. So, besides Nebraska and Arizona.
So, Coach Shorts also talked about his wide receiver room.
He did.
And he said that, with the exception of Dane Key, who followed Da'Keil from Kentucky, it's a relatively young room. And they don't necessarily have a vocal leader in the wide receiver group just yet.
True. That's probably what's going to be happening. I mean, they're doing the mat drills now, right? And they're looking for a leader. Dane Key is more of a lead by example guy. And, we do have a young wide receiver room. I hadn't realized it so much until he pointed it out. Does that make anyone here nervous?
I think it depends on the level of talent. And, we've been fortunate enough that we've seen quite a bit of the talent, like Ja'Cory Barney. I think we're going to miss Jalen Lloyd. And it's probably going to break your heart, maybe, but I think we'll miss him more than Malachi Coleman. It's, we got some guys that came in, but how are they going to fit into this system? Am I nervous? Yeah. I don't want to say nervous. I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to. And it sucks that, because we're in this new age of college football where we don't get to see any progress being made in a spring football game, So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what 105 guys we're going to see in a Nebraska uniform in August. It's still such the wild, wild west. So I don't know.
So right now we have Dane Key as the one with the most experience, the oldest guy. Then we have Janarin Bonner, Cooper Hosman, Roman Mangini, and Hayes Miller. Okay. Then after that, we have Ja'Cory Barney, Demetrius Bell will be back, and Isaiah Hunter Jr., as well as Hardly Gilmore. And did you know, another thing he told us was that he's been with Hardly Gilmore since he was 16 years old at Kentucky. 16. He must be a heck of a player. I can't wait to see him. I don't know. I just feel like it is a young group, but I'm also really excited to see what they put together.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but it's the and Michael says skeptical is the answer until they prove that. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be a skeptic. I don't want to go into fall with a negative outlook. I want to be my usual optimistic, wildly unrealistic self, and to have so many question marks and to not be able to see any type of, even the spring game that we've had where it's largely a scrimmage and, it's guys out there having fun. Like, we don't even get that anymore because of the fear of poaching. So say what you want about NIL and the transfer portal and everything else, but it has robbed Nebraska fans, and not just Nebraska fans, because we're not the only ones who cancel spring games, but it has robbed college football fans of an extra opportunity to see their favorite teams, in some type of competition, even if it's friendly fire. So,
you're right, Greg.
I know. Yes,
you were right.
Wicked Wild West, Jim West, Desperado. Do you know that? Before we move on, did you know that Will Smith?
We're not moving on.
We're not. But did you know that Will Smith passed up the opportunity to have the Keanu Reeves role in The Matrix to star in Wild Wild West?
That was not a good career choice.
It was not a good career choice. I think 25 plus years later, he's trying to fix that. They're doing some type of Matrix reboot, and Will Smith is rumored to be attached. So
I don't know. In comparison to Keanu Reeves, is Will Smith the same level of actor?
I would say no. I don't dislike Will Smith as an actor. Independence Day, I think, is a fantastic movie. He's done a lot of great things. But Keanu Reeves was the right guy for that role at that time. So it's all about timing.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of timing and the right people in the right place at the right time, Coach Shorts was asked about Dylan. And he said his very first comment was, "I'm beginning not to like that guy." And I'm like, what did he just say?
I'm telling you, I've been saying it for a year.
There's a reason he said it like that. Because he is like, prides himself on going to the gym and being the first in the gym and wants to get a good workout in and be tough. He goes into the gym and he's not the first one there. In fact, Dylan is already getting halfway through his boxing. Like, he has one of the coaches teaching him boxing, and he's already halfway through one of his workouts. So that is the type of person, obviously, that we need as play caller for this team. Somebody who is always working. Quarterback.
His play caller is a different job. If you want him on the sidelines with the headset, I'm on board.
Oh, give me a break.
Brad says, I saw the life drain out of Greg's eyes as this Dylan story began. And then Kaylee comes through with an extraordinary comparison. We were talking about Will Smith turning down The Matrix. She says that's as bad as Sean Connery turning down the role of Gandalf in Lord of the Rings so he could star in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. which was the
I didn't know
movie
that.
role that caused him to be like, no, you know what? I'm done acting. He didn't understand Gandalf or Lord of the Rings as a story, as a narrative. So he's like, I don't want to be a part of that. So, gosh, Kaylee, well done.
Yeah, well, Michael Hasman says nobody's perfect. Thank you, Greg. He was still the best Bond ever. I second that.
I can't dispute that. I mean, it's a little before my time.
Okay.
But
Whatever.
not everybody's as young and as me. So
It's true. Thank goodness we're not. Okay. Then also Phil Simpson was the last to take the podium.
yes,
The outside linebackers coach. I didn't even know that we would be getting an outside linebackers coach, but we do. And his job is basically he's taking over the Jacks. Number one priority, getting after the quarterback. News to my ears, if MJ Sherman was under that kind of coach, I believe MJ Sherman would have had sack after sack after sack. But now they're going to utilize Deshaun McCullough. And they said that they want to use him in a lot of different ways because he's that kind of a versatile player. But remember, they have McGahee, they have Shavers, and they have Maverick Noonan also. So it's going to be really good. What? What did I say?
you didn't. It's a Fred comment, so you know.
Okay.
I'm not going to put it up there. It's
Oof.
yes. Two was from Carl back to back. Carl Pence, no defensive or offensive lineman to put the fear of God in our opponents. He says we need better fat guys. Yes, more fat guys. That's what I need.
Not fat guys, just monsters. Just relentless, disciplined, violent guys, right? RDV.
Aaron says it's a fair question. So we can say sack after sack after sack.
Give me a break. Seriously, don't. You guys, you're horrible.
I didn't say it. I mean, I read it, but I didn't say it. I mean, I read it, but
Somebody
I didn't.
said it.
What is going on? Did you move your chair? Like, are you squatting now?
No, I'm standing up because I'm losing feeling in my legs. I'm sitting in a stool. I moved everything so that I could stand up, and I didn't want to be standing up the whole time.
So is this what we're going to have? Is like musical chairs, furniture, just every week now?
No. I mean,
probably.
I could have stood for an hour. No, I could have stood for an hour. It's okay.
Yeah, but we're not done with the show.
RDV, not RVP. Vince Watson.
Riley Van Poppel?
Oh. Yeah, I didn't realize that's who he was talking about. Okay.
Can you read that one from Fred at 10:09?
I can. Let's see. What about Elijah? Really? He always wants to talk about Elijah Pritchett. This poor guy. Elijah Pritchett's teammate we may get. Did you hear about him? Hugh G. Rection. Thanks so much. Nice set. I mean, you're like 12. You are 12. And this is a perfect segue into the next section. This is what it's like to be a Husker fan right here.
Kaylee says no big guys is where the 3.35 can actually be better for us. If we have more speed, that allows us to use it more, which I'd rather do than pretend we have power up front. I will agree to an extent. I think you need to have some land movers, on the defensive line.
Yeah.
You have to have some guys who can chew up a few blocks to allow your outside linebackers, your rush ends, a better access to the quarterback. So.
Yeah. Let's blitz like crazy. Can we move on to number 7?
Yes, number 7 is the reason we're here. I mean, quite honestly, it is the reason that the show exists.
It is. We are talking about things that we actually care about in the off season, and I noticed that because Greg and I basically are doing a lot of YouTube stuff, like looking around, seeing what's going on with the channel. And I said, it seems like there's been a lot of people kind of just like checking out during the off season. And I think that is because they're so tired of drinking the Kool-Aid that they just are exhausted emotionally. I kind of feel like John needed a break, but I kind of feel like he could be exhausted from drinking the Rhule Aid. The season's ups and downs, the roller coaster that we all ride can be exhausting. And I wanted to know why. Why do we have such highs and such lows? What do you think, Greg?
I think so. First of all, I want to make sure I start this by expressing gratitude for this wonderful family that we have here. It would be not nearly as fun. Trust me, I've done this show a lot of different ways. Early on, it was Brian and I, and then Haas, and then like we used to record on Skype, and because it wasn't live, we might start recording at 10 o'clock. This is when John was younger and he wouldn't sundown as much, it's just this version of the show is still my favorite. Live, getting to talk with all of you, having the interaction, but I do feel like maybe in the post national championship, weeks or months that, like maybe there's I don't want to say hangover, but like there's a point where some of you just get tired. Maybe you just get tired of me. That's fine. I don't blame you. Clearly, people have become tired of me in the past.
Greg.
No, I think it's understandable to have a little bit of fatigue. It's the off season. The shows aren't as important, as they are August to December. But that being said, like I guess what I'm curious about is I've asked the question before: how many people who are watching this now were 5 Heart listeners when it was just audio before we were doing live? And everybody's like, what brought you here? Is it because you were a past listener? Everybody to the person. It's like, no, this is all we found the channel all after John's post-game rant in Minnesota on the field. And that's fine because, you came to the channel for that, but you stuck around for 5 Heart and all the other great shows that we've had over the years. So I guess, and this is not for my ego. Greg has no ego. I just said that by using myself in the third person, so I apologize. I don't have an ego. But, are you here at this point at the end of February, and will you be here with us because like our Nebraska content is just that great, or is it just the community that has been built around this silly show and the fact that you get to come and hang out with us, but you also get to, Fred's ridiculous comments that Pitt's not, eating a dog. It's all the friends that we've made. It's been said before that there's side like off-air chats. We had the coordination meetup the Colorado week. I love this community. I'm excited for what we can do with the show. But getting back to the crux of the question, Yeah, I do think that sometimes the numbers fall off a little bit when it's not season because say what we want about being a volleyball school, Nebraska football is the straw that stirs the drink,
Mm-hmm.
And so when football's either not good or not in season, the numbers dwindle a little bit, and we see that over in coordination.com with the analytics there as well. So it's not just something that YouTube feels, but we have the ability and what I like doing, and this is a great topic, Minnie, that you brought forth, is just spending some time talking about our experiences as Nebraska fans, and riding the highs. That's why we called it the roller coaster, our perspective. And, we're an hour and 16 minutes into this episode, so we're not going to go forever, but we might talk another half hour, 45 minutes, just about our general feelings as Nebraska fans from drinking the Rhule Aid and buying that off-season hype. So did I answer your question or did I just talk a lot?
You always just talk a lot, but I like where you're going with it. Because it is a community that, we've built here. It's typical to want to check out and be like, I'm so exhausted. I'm emotionally drained after the season. I mean, I feel emotionally drained after every single game, especially if we lose. Forget it. I don't ever want to watch football ever again. But thankfully, I have you guys here to be there for me. And, things like big victories for us, nobody else really cares. Greg, you brought up something that we were like bowl game champion type thing, something.
I didn't know if it was too early to get into that, but It was announced, I want to make sure I get my day right, yesterday that Nebraska was the bowl season champions.
And how did we become that? Because we are so dang excited about this. We love it so much. What's the deal with that?
Right. So it's the first ever of its kind, the first ever winners making history, the bowl season team challenge. And what that is so there are three components where Nebraska accomplished all of this over other FBS institutions. So the first is you have to have on-field success. Now, I'm reading this straight from bowlseason.com in this article about winning the bowl season championship. To qualify for the team challenge consideration, the team must first qualify for participation in a non-college football playoff bowl game. There were 82 teams that finished the season with 6 or more wins, meeting the criteria for bowl eligibility. Nebraska punched their ticket to bowl season by defeating Wisconsin on the second to last weekend of the season to qualify for their first bowl game in 8 years. The team then must win their non-CFP bowl game to advance. 36 teams who met this standard, Nebraska defeating, of course, Boston College and the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. So that's how we advanced in the competition. And number 2 is community service. As part of their bowl week festivities, the entire Nebraska team decorated cards for the children at Memorial Sloan Kettering's Pediatric Cancer Center, which I did not know. The day before the game, a smaller group of players and staff, including the University President Gold, delivered the cards and beanies as they spent an afternoon sharing holiday cheer and Big Red Spirit with the patients. Did you know about that? I don't want to say philanthropic, but that we're called to give of time, talent, and treasure. Did you know that the Huskers gave of their time to that Pediatric Cancer Center?
I remember seeing something, and I didn't really take much of a look at it, but I didn't know all of that. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
And then lastly, fan engagement. The bowl season pick'em game was launched this year, allowing fans to predict the winners of the 47 postseason football games, which is the bowl season and college football playoffs, following the action throughout December and early January. It's a free-to-play game that also gives fans the ability to win prizes, including tickets and airfare to next year's CFB championship game. Of the 36 teams that met the first 2 criteria for the team challenge, Nebraska had more fans play the pick'em game than any other school. By winning this final fan engagement criterion, the Cornhuskers are the winners of the first annual bowl season team challenge. And with the bowl season pick'em game, including the team challenge, it's been a hit with fans across the country, and bowl season is excited to continue growing the game and its fan engagement in the years to come. So, off-season champs again.
That's the problem right there. We're such good fans that we will us to championship. It's like, we got this. That's it. I mean, but I love what some of these comments are. Michael Hausman says, I have not and never will switch teams, even after 25 years of disappointment.
I haven't been a fan, that long.
Solidarity.
Josh knows, 06 is when I came on. So I'm looking down the barrel of 20 years, and they all haven't been winning years. But I'm locked in, I when my twins were born, I bestowed upon them, took to the NICU, the Nebraska blankets, like little baby blankets that I had purchased, and sent one out to Josh for his daughter as well. And, I remember there's a picture of me in the NICU as COVID. So I'm wearing a mask, and, the twins are in my arm. I got a twin in each arm. It wrapped up in their, swaddled in their little Nebraska blankets. And I remember the picture I put on Facebook, and it said, Nebraska born, Nebraska bred. And when I die, I'll be, or Husker born, Husker bred, whatever. When I die, I'll be Husker dead. And I wasn't born in Nebraska, and technically neither were my boys, but I'm going to do my best to make this a generational thing. And with Robert, my older twin, by 2 minutes, I think I got the most chance for success. So we'll see. The hope is to pass it on.
Kaylee says, is the passionate fan base a problem, Minnie, or has it been something that has sustained us has sustained us in enough relevance until the right guy took over? Absolutely. You're 100% right, Kaylee, because honestly, I became a fan. I didn't have any other friends that were Husker fans to share anything with. In fact, I just shared with Greg earlier today that it really bummed me out whenever I read that Greg Sharp had passed away, and I didn't have anyone to share that with. When you lose the way that we've lost in such heart-wrenching losses, it seems like you just need other people to join in and be like, yeah, this really sucked. And so, yeah, as a fan base, we are the best for sure.
I think
I'm grateful for it.
Pitt has a great response there to Kaylee. It makes us fickle and moody and difficult. I agree on all three facets there, but no fan base keeps showing up like we do. Nobody celebrates their champions louder. So,
yeah.
And that's why, and it's another reason why I really love this iteration of the Five Heart Show. And I'm sorry, my melon-sized head. I'll move back.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Because this version of the show, and Minnie, I think you say very well on when you wrap up Monday Night Therapy, gives everybody a voice. It is not to say that there aren't other Husker live streams that, people can comment on, but I don't know of any of them that use the comment section in the way that we do, to where, quite honestly, it's a living, breathing third member of the show.
Oh, it is. I actually view it as more, and I've shared this with you. It is the show. Without the chat, without the Husker fans, there is no show. There's no we don't show up just for ourselves. We show up to be a part of all this. Guys, and isn't it a shame that we didn't get any of those gems this past season that Rhule gave us last season? I mean, the only thing that I can think of that he gave us was somebody's got to fight for Nebraska, remember? Because of him throwing his headset down on the field and getting a foul for that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Because they didn't let us into all those pre-speeches, but I live for those. They're like my favorite.
Which if they're canceling or not canceling, I mean, if they're not doing spring game and everything else, I don't know if we're going to get a 2025 version of Chasing 3.
No, I don't think so.
I think restrictions really going to start being limited.
It just kind of brought me to ask the question, kind of full circle here. Is winning all that matters to us now?
It'd be nice.
No, I kind of feel like we're at that point where it's like, guys, we've given this our all. I mean, come on, right? Are we at that point, or do we still have more? Do we just say that every year, or is there more of that behind us?
I think, and if it wasn't on this show, maybe it was on a Monday night show. I could have sworn it was on this channel. But breaking down the economics of going to a game, and the cost involved, and for fans to continue to show up like Nebraska fans have, even despite subpar on-field performances, subpar coaching performances. We as fans, we don't just invest like our heart and soul, but we invest dollars and cents. And to a lot of fans, that's a lot of dollars and cents. So I think it's time that we have earned a better ROI,
Mm-hmm.
And is it Vince Lombardi said, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And
did he really say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just looking at the comments here real quick, Kaylee says, isn't winning kind of the point? Who goes out there to lose? Carl says, you play to win the game. Hello.
Guys, I know, but okay, there's a difference. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Do we get all hyped up because of the easy wins that we stack up front? Because of the non-conference wins?
When I go to a Cardinal game, I can go there and I can relax and I can watch baseball for 9 innings, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and I can drink a few beers and I can just chill because baseball is 162 games. Major League Baseball, 162 games. Baseball is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching college football, you have 12 chances.
Yeah, not very much.
When I know things are going to change, when we're talking about the college football playoffs, the expanded version of the playoffs, and how, the Big Ten and the SEC are each going to get 4 automatic bids, and however that looks. But there's still so much on the line every week. And so, yeah, I don't want to say I get nervous. Like I most of the time, all I have in the game, the only skin in the game I have is heart and soul and wanting this team to succeed because winning is contagious. Just like losing is contagious. Winning, and we've talked about like how the players for the last decade haven't had that winning, mindset. Winning is contagious. And if Nebraska starts to win, they start to attract better players. We can start building this thing back up to a level where most of the people in the comments, the Holger Maniacs, brother, remember the glory days. And I know you talked with Fred about that on Monday night, and just being around for national championships, conference championships, to be relevant each and every, not not that it was, a dark horse, but that the expectation was that you were going to compete for a national or for a conference title and have maybe not odds on favor, but be at least in the conversation for national champion. That's where I want Nebraska to be. So for me, at this point, and again, I've not put in the dues that so many other people who are watching this now or listening to this now have put in. I haven't paid all those dues, but I'm ready for Nebraska to return to what I still feel is their rightful place, which is among the elite in college football. And you got to do that by winning games.
Okay. Well, Greg, I get that, but it's still a game. I mean, there's a difference, in my opinion. Just hear me out, guys.
I'm listening.
There's a difference, in my opinion, of winning for a game versus UTEP versus winning a game at Ohio State versus Ohio State. There's a big difference. How can you feel the same if winning is winning? I don't.
I understand. So the games are weighted differently. But do you want to lose to UTEP?
Well, obviously not.
Like, do you want to lose to Houston Christian next year? Do you want to lose to Cincinnati? Yeah, conference games mean more.
Okay.
But
not all conference games either.
No, I mean,
it seems like if winning is everything, then we would just want to win them all. Okay. And we do. It's not that we don't. It's just there's bigger challenges on our schedule that we weigh differently. And so a win versus that team might be celebrated even more and be more cause for excitement. And maybe that's what we're hoping for. That's all I'm saying.
I love that the expectation is to win the games that you're not expected to win, at least right now. Fred says in the good old days, winning versus UTEP needed to be by 50 plus, and anything less was a failure. Agreed. We're not at that point. I would love to get back to that point, but you got to keep beating the UTEPs. You have to keep beating the Houston Christians and the Akrons. And you're going to have to pull off some wins that you're not supposed to, like the Ohio State last year. This close,
That close. You're so close.
You have to win the games you're expected to win, and you have to eke out a few that you're not.
Yeah. And I think we're also really tired of those close wins.
I'm also tired of fucking close
losses. How many warns? Yeah, one score losses did we have?
I don't want to look into that because I know it's
for
not
season
great.
After season. It just was. It was a broken record in Husker Nation. We were tired of it, and also these 3-score losses. We've got to get over that. There's certain humps that we need to get over. I totally agree. And I do want to win. I just think that the way that the schedules are, a win doesn't necessarily mean you're a great team always. And that's what bothers me the most.
Carl says to you, Minnie, what you don't understand is that you beat up the small schools to build confidence going into the big game against, say, the Buckeyes. We talk about that as part of this bigger conversation is when you look at Nebraska in 2024, we beat UTEP, we beat Colorado, we beat Northern Illinois, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry, Northern Iowa? Northern Iowa.
Iowa.
And then, we started conference play. And you think, but correct me if I'm wrong, that we got a little ahead of ourselves after winning those 3 games and then not being able to follow up with it once we hit the conference schedule.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. You can't have these cupcake games, which we were told not to call them cupcake games, right? because every single game is supposed to be a challenge. Not exactly. Okay. We're supposed to win that game. Finally, we are winning games that we are supposed to win. But does that make us a good team? Like, I want to know that we're a good team. That's what I care about.
So you have to beat Purdue, you have to beat Rutgers, and then you can't get boat raced by Indiana. You have to beat Ohio State once in a while. This year is going to be different. You're going to have Michigan. Michigan has the easiest Big Ten schedule in 2025. Nebraska and who's it? Oh, hold on. Nebraska is up there, I think, tied for second with the easiest. So it's hold on. I got it here. It's Michigan and Indiana and Nebraska are tied for second easiest. And then Illinois, Maryland. I mean, when you're talking about a Michigan team that just came off, again, a nice bowl win against Alabama, not a playoff win, but just a nice bowl win against Alabama. I mean, they're going to be coming in. They're going to make sure that they can build upon the success they had of last year, which was winning the game, beating Alabama. There's a chance that they have national championship aspirations as well. So you have Michigan. You don't have Ohio State. You do go on the road late in the season to Penn State. It's you're going to have to win some of these tough games. End of story. Sure. We cannot get blown out by I'm going to say it. I'm going to piss people off. Not our regulars, but there's going to be other people lurking or finding this who are going to say, "What did he say? We cannot get blown out by a mediocre Indiana team." I'm sorry, a James Madison team with different uniforms.
Yeah. No, you're right, Greg. But a lot of schools got beat out by that Indiana team. And at the time, I said, they came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting them to play like that. That's part of the reason. The element of surprise. When you can prepare for a team and what they're doing, it makes a big difference when they become your opponent. Nobody's preparing for Indiana. We didn't even have anything to compare off of. So I don't know. I think Indiana had the element of surprise in their favor last season, and I don't think they're going to have as easy of a year this year.
I mean, to their credit, they lost 2 games. They lost to Ohio State, which team went on to win the whole damn thing, and they lost to Notre Dame in the bowl. And most of the games that they won, I mean, beat Michigan by 5. They beat Michigan State by 37. They damn near doubled up Washington. We all know what they did to us. If anything, you could probably say that I'll go out and say we were saying ahead of their game with us, well, who has Indiana played? And then we lost to them 56-7, and the answer was, well, they still haven't played anybody, And I think we were making that same comment here. So they didn't really – they had an easy schedule last year. And so I don't know.
They did. They did. I don't like wasting time on Indiana, talking about Indiana, because I just feel like that is just a one and done. It's a fluke. It's not going to happen again this season. We know not to take any opponent for granted, okay? Right. Even if they are Utah. But I care more about that game where we were that close to beating Ohio State. Sure. I care so much more about that game than I do about any other game on the during the season last year, because we should have won it. We absolutely could have beat the national champions for college football. We absolutely could have. That's what I care about. I want to know we're a good football team. So I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Obviously, a lot of people do, but
Here's the thing, and this is where we run into trouble. Let me rephrase. This is where I run into trouble. I still, believe, and I know that there's winning potential in that program, in that locker room, on that field.
Mm-hmm.
What we do, I'm guilty of it more than anybody, probably, is drinking the Kool-Aid. And, we started calling it Rhule Aid because Matt Rhule's our head coach now, but I drink the Kool-Aid, and I drink it every damn offseason. And the show that we do right before the first game of the season reflects that when we do our season predictions. And I'm over here like a jackass, like, oh, we're going to win that game. No, we're going to win that game. And, 15-0, 16-0, whatever the hell it looks like now with the playoffs. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I will never pick against, even when conventional wisdom and common sense say otherwise. I'm the guy who's never going to pick against Nebraska because I'd rather be wrong than put a front out there that I don't have faith.
Yeah,
I'd
like
rather
that.
be wrong. So,
okay, David Matney's back. Welcome, David Matney. Oh, excuse me. Welcome, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast.
Yes.
He says, you don't win close games when you slide 2 yards short on third down. Huh? Guys, you forget. Dylan was a freshman. I mean, you gotta cut him some slack. I know it broke your heart, broke mine too.
You just can't do it with the frequency that he did. And
oh my gosh.
It was discussed by about the 6th or 7th game last year. Even as a freshman, you're not a freshman anymore. You're a college football player, and you need to know where the markers are. You need to be okay taking a little bit of extra contact to try to move the sticks, and at times he didn't do that. So,
oh my gosh, you guys are harsh.
Great to see
these comments that they're saying.
No.
Oh, they are harsh.
Mr. Matney, it is great to see you back, sir. We hope that all has been well. We have missed you. And
okay, well, Greg.
That's a great reference. Fred Sacco with the 90s alt rock reference.
All right. Greg, there's like 27 starred comments.
Should we get to them?
Through. Yeah, because guess what? We're at an hour and 43 minutes, and I'm sure this is going to spur more conversation. So,
the Verve pipe. Yeah, I was right. I wanted to verify. The Verve pipe saying freshman. Are you familiar with that song from the 90s, Minnie?
Please sing it to me.
I don't wanna. Hold on. Let's see. Oh gosh. Why am I doing this? Hold on.
Fred is just throwing out song lyrics left and right. Oh, it's killing me. All right.
Yes,
Greg does love it.
We don't have time.
He loves to take requests, song requests.
Somebody give that man a Pitt. Would you please award Fred 9 points because year 9 is typically the freshman year. So the respect for the chat leveled up after the Verve reference. Verve pipe. I'm not gonna. I can't. We don't have time. I got 27 starred comments I have to get to.
You kind of have to, Greg, unless you really don't want to.
I want to make sure I do it right. Do you not remember the song?
I told you I cannot remember any song until I hear it, and I'm like, yeah, I know that song.
All right, here we go. God dang it. I can be talked into doing damn near anything, like, for crying out loud. I've done lunges on this fucking show.
Yeah, we know.
All right. Let's see here. For the life of me, I cannot remember what made us think that we were wise and we'd never compromise. For the life of me, I cannot believe we'd ever die for these sins. We were merely freshmen.
I have heard that song. It's an earlier song. What year
There
was
you
that
go.
recorded?
Was it earlier? 1996.
Was it 96?
1996.
Oh, man. 96.
You know what?
Hmm.
If singing random song lyrics, not random, but, requested song lyrics is how I get my big break, my singing career.
You might.
If it's how I can put food on my table and feed my boys, then so be it. It is well worth
MK
it.
calls it Greggy.
Great. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I love that.
Kaylee says,
true.
if we aren't collectively jamming to that in the background, I don't know what the point of all this is. Well, the point is it's supposed to be a Nebraska athletics show, and God, what I love about it is that most of the time it's not.
But it's okay. We always circle back.
Wow. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that.
I actually think he does have a good singing voice. You've heard his whoa whoa whoas.
This is my third one, Michael.
Mhm.
Just for you.
All right, Greg, take it.
All right, comments. Starred comments. Here we go. All the way at the beginning. Aaron Rostovsky says, I was going to go on a walk. Then
You have to highlight it.
Oh, yes.
You just read it.
Great. Aaron Rostovsky says, I was going to go on a walk. Then the notification that the 5 Heart podcast was coming on. So really, it's Minnie's fault I'm not on a walk.
I'm sure you were going to go on a walk. Really? I don't believe that for a second.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also says 11,000 subscribers, we get more lunges.
Yes.
So I'll tell you what, we get to 11,000 subscribers, we'll do more lunges and less singing. Just for you, Michael. Speaking of Michael, he was looking forward to playing Tennessee, waited 2 decades for it. I understand why they did it, but it still sucks. I saw spring games going away anyway, so no shock there. So, yeah, we talked about that, touched on it a little bit on Monday, the economics of not doing the home and home with Tennessee, and the fact that we asked Tennessee if they just delayed a few years, just like we granted them that certain allowance, and they said no. So they can.
Yeah, that was news to me. If you guys didn't hear, Fred shared with us, I guess it was about a decade ago that we asked them. And when we asked them to postpone it because we're having stadium renovations, they said no. Jerks.
Let's see. Michael says, I'll take singing over lunges in that case. So, and Pitt says, just now got the acronym 5HP. We should all use that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And Aaron says, I haven't even stood up from the bed since posting that.
Greg, what are you doing? These are not comments that I've highlighted.
These are relevant comments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them
I'll
all.
tell you what's relevant. Okay.
And Vince says, Minnie causing you to not exercise, talking to Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we got Carl wouldn't mind seeing Ndamukong Suh sack Scott Frost. Don't have much there. MK
Ex-players for the spring game.
Right. I don't think Scott Frost is coming back. I think he's got his own spring to prepare for. Speaking of my lunges, Fred says, MK, I still shudder when I think of the show where Greg did lunges toward the camera. So, speaking of lunges, I suppose Greg avoided the groin cam reference for Minnie's benefit. That's for her benefit, for all of your benefits. Like, you've already seen the lunges. I don't really know what else you need to see. Like, don't
You were so proud of them too.
No, I'm not. They're not in good form. I think I lost my balance.
Oh, really? You want to do another? You want to show us better form?
Not till we get to 11,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
We were talking about the Keys, and I asked if they were a foreign country, and Kaylee says the Keys are a series of islands that stretch off the southern coast of Florida. And Fred, that's what most tourists do down there, because Fred said he ended up drunk. Or at least that's what he was told. So there you go. Geography. Something else you get for free. We're here, the 5 Heart Podcast. We talked about tequila shorts and discussing the wide receiver room. Vince says the running back room makes me more nervous than the wide receiver room.
Interesting.
I'll say this. In Emmett, we trust. Emmett Johnson for Prez. Let's just keep him healthy. Let's wrap him in bubble wrap all spring long. Yeah. And just put him in like Bubble Boy, like that old Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Keep him healthy.
Put him in a papoose.
What?
Papoose and carry him around.
I don't think you can
on your
do
back.
That.
Okay.
Pitt says, I got a cam on my groin right now. OnlyFans, folks, Pitt's bits.
What the heck? You just keep taking other comments. Can we get through these?
Yeah, but Josh says that he forgot that Jake Gyllenhaal was Bubble Boy.
Oh, okay. So important.
This is a fun one. If Emmett Johnson is president from Kaylee, who's Secretary of Defense?
Secretary of Defense. Okay, let's think about this.
MJ Sherman, maybe?
He's not on the team anymore.
Oh. Shit. Good point.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
Shavers.
Vincent Shavers Jr.
Vince knows Vince.
Yeah.
Did you see that Vincent Shavers was the highest graded freshman linebacker in the country?
Yeah.
By PFF? So.
I did. Yeah.
Well done, Vince Watson.
Good job.
Pitt, award 5 points to Vince Watson.
Okay.
I don't disagree. I think Van Poppel has potential, but we got more from Vince Shavers. So, all right. Pitt says Matt Rhule looks like he has more energy and deliberation than any 10 of us fans.
It's true. He does have a ton of energy.
Why are you unstarring starred comments?
Well, I was just going through the ones that are not that important. They're that relevant now.
There was a reason I skipped over that one and was saving it for later.
I didn't know.
Go back and find it and star it
I
again.
don't remember what it was. I thought you skipped over it because you weren't going to read it. I'm sorry. I will stop. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I had no idea. I can't read your mind.
I was saving it for the end. I'll remind me to get back.
Do you remember what it was?
I do.
Okay.
I do. We'll have to save it for the end. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Kaylee says some of the highs this year are largely generated by the head coach saying twice that there would be a big jump in year 3.
It's true.
So that is statistically what
some of the highs
Matt Rhule has done.
Plus, it's all of the hope that we have because now it looks like we have a newer staff. We definitely have a very plump staff compared to when we first started with Matt Rhule. I mean, we had a coach that got pulled over for a DUI, remember? And then we had to pull up an analyst to fill his position. So, come a long ways.
Indeed. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast. You owe me $100. It was not your comment that got unstarred. I'd say you can send it here as a super chat, but
He owes you.
But just Venmo me. It's fine.
Okay.
Let's see. Pitt wants to know, Greg, I honestly cannot remember. Were you writing for Coronation 5, 6, 7 years ago when the site was mostly the comment section? When Brian was writing and moderating, were you there? Yes, but I can probably count on one hand the number of articles that I've ever actually written for Coronation that weren't, just vehicles for the show. But Brian brought me over to Coronation, I want to say back in 2013. With detasseling the Huskers, which I think we've talked about in the past. So I've been hanging out with John and so many of these good people here at Coronation for well over a decade now. That's a quarter of my life. I know that a lot of you are older than me, but still, 12 plus years. It's not the longest job I've ever had. Great question, Pitt. And you know what? Award yourself 3 points for Brian. BFOTS Josh Hansen says, what I'm gathering, and to be fair, I wasn't paying attention, is that people need to suck it up, hit like more, and read John's book. It's the off season. LOL.
Yes.
All that.
Take it on vacation. You'll enjoy it.
That's right. Or you could be like me when I took it on vacation and fell asleep reading it in the airport terminal.
Okay.
That's not an indictment on John. All right. Fred says, bowl season champions. Is this another spot on Rhule's staff that we created? No. Moving on.
I actually like that idea.
We were talking about time spent as Husker fan. Michael says 45 plus years here. First year I recall most of the season was 1975.
1975
was a great year.
Let me tell you about 1975. Do you know Fred Sack is about ready to have a birthday in 6 days?
I did not.
He will be turning 50.
What?
Yeah. 6 days. Happy early birthday, Fred.
Happy early birthday, Fred. I won't do it. The next time we get together on a Thursday night will be after your birthday. So very happy birthday to you, Fred.
He may not show up. You never know.
You may not have to. Kaylee says, how is this show not mostly the comment section right now? I mean, it is. What are we doing right now? We're reading comments and we're having a blast doing it. Stop it. Kaylee says, I can't disagree. If we would have died, the university would have died. We're talking about the resilience
true.
Of the fans.
And I wouldn't be here. So thank you guys. It's true.
Right. And this show wouldn't have a format and we'd be done in an hour and a half, give or take.
Or less.
Michael Hausman says, IU ass kicking hurt far less than the BS loss to Iowa. I hate losing to Iowa. I hate the walk-off field goal bullshit. It's going to be our turn one day, damn it.
It will. We're going to be there.
Kaylee says, playing smaller schools can also be great tune-up games. We can evaluate prior to playing the big guys. Fair. Vince says, what we all know, what we've said before, if Nebraska beats OSU, they don't make the playoffs. They don't go on their run. They don't win the national championship. Pitt says, hey, nobody thought to make Dylan slide a couple times in practice. For fuck's sake. There you go, Miss Minnie.
What?
You're not paying attention. Nobody thought to make Dylan slide a couple times in practice. So he was ill-prepared to slide in the game because he didn't practice it.
Greg, pay attention to what's going on also in the comments.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at the starred comments. What am I missing on the other comments?
Look at the very top.
Mr. Matney, you're supposed to send that to me, not to John. Good Lord,
maybe John
sir.
will keep us around for a little bit. Wow.
That's
Oh, goodness gracious.
you know, you
That's
should.
probably the most super chat that we've ever received.
We got the 99.99 one back
I mean,
in the day.
More.
Right. I mean, yeah.
More.
What I would really like to see, Mr. Matney, is to reallocate those funds to some sweet, sweet can coolies that say, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast.
Yeah, I know you do. He really wants
Put
one.
a QR code on the opposite side of it that links immediately to your YouTube channel.
When it could be on the bottom of the can coolie. When you take a drink, people would be like, snapping a picture. Yeah.
But the analytics show that most of these good people are watching the video on their mobile device.
Screenshot, Greg.
Okay. Josh says John's going to think he has to watch another movie he hates.
I love it.
Well done. All right. Pitt Snipe Husker says, Greg, you are reading irrelevant comments, you bastard. And Mr. Rostovsky says, Greg, will you star this comment just to add another to the list and make the show longer? Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't encourage him. We're already past 2 hours. Jeez.
We have back-to-back comments regarding particular tight ends coach. Vince Watson says, we got the highest paid tight end coach in history. What could go wrong? Nothing. Again, you're not going to get him. He's not going to get a tight end coach's job anywhere else for that salary, and you're not going to ask him to take less money for the demotion. So the only other thing you could really realistically do is just cut him loose, and you're probably going to be on the hook for the salary anyway, or for at least, for a buyout. So you just ride with him and hope that he's already done more with Heinrich Haarberg, allegedly. Heinrich should be the quarterback, but he'll be the star tight end, and just probably still have. At least we know that when Heinrich goes to run the ball, he's going to take the contact and get the first down. He's not going to slide the yard short.
Oh yeah, no, he won't. I wonder how many broken bones he's going to enforce on people.
I don't know. That'd be great.
Season.
Be the new Dante Dowdell. And Rostovsky says, "What would you like us to do instead of having Sad as tight end?" Exactly. We know the situation there. Until his contract's up, or the buyout is so low that it's more of a non-issue. Just expect that Marcus Satterfield's going to be here in Lincoln. And again, Mr. Matney, thank you, sir.
And I think yes, thank you, David Matney. I think that he must be good for something, guys. So let's just trust and roll, and everything's going to work out. And yeah. That's what we're here for.
Pitt, by the way, can you go ahead and award Mr. Matney 100 Pitt points? I feel like he's earned them. And Mr. Matney says the best way to really build confidence is to beat a big-time program like Tennessee in a non-conference game. True. It just won't be happening in 26 or 27. So.
Okay. Maybe we beat them in a playoff game.
There you go. Pitt says the Sats name is on a lot of our commits lists. He ain't on the couch. So he's out there working. He's out there recruiting. He's doing something, earning a payday. So, all right. So the other comment that was starred and ready to go, he gave.
I saw that one too.
You can't buy my loyalty. The starred comment that was there, it was so rudely removed. It's a great way to button up this episode because we were talking about G.I. Joe earlier and how cartoons of the 80s had a moral at the end.
Oh, right.
Sometimes He-Man would come out and break the fourth wall and talk to the kids and say, "Oh, listen, you want to stay away from strangers," or make sure that you put your toys away or something useful. And G.I. Joe, because they operate on Earth, they would oftentimes be talking to children, in their world, and just saying, don't trust strangers or something like that. The question was, the better 80s cartoon, G.I. Joe or Transformers?
Transformers.
Really? Why do you say that?
I never even thought G.I. Joe, but I know for a fact Transformers blew my mind.
Interesting.
Transformers. I could watch it still now. I'm sure.
There's a million different types of what I've learned being a boy dad. There's a million types of Transformers out there. They're not all good. But there you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is what Kaylee says. That was a good one too. I remember I have such great memories of so my mom worked second shift at a hospital. She was a nurse. And when I was in, I didn't have daycare because mom was always home. So, mom would make lunch and we would sit and watch He-Man, and we would play He-Man together. Like mom was on the floor, action figures, doing all that stuff. So He-Man will always have a special place in my heart. I probably watched more Ninja Turtles growing up though. It's just, it was the golden age of kids cartoons. The 1980s.
It was. I loved He-Man. I loved She-Ra. I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Splinter. The little rat. The rat that was in charge of the...
Right. I know who Master Splinter was. I'm trying to figure out what voice you were...
I don't know, but somehow it's in my brain after all these years. Okay.
Let's see. Carl says Minnie is right. It's Transformers. Michael says I'll take the 80s Transformers over the 2025 ones. That's for damn sure.
Greg, don't turn this into a nerd show.
Hey, people ask the question. We have to give the people what they want. Husker Bob says, I watched Popeye in black and white after we got a TV set. Yes.
There you go.
Husker Bob, I love you. Don't go changing.
Minimum standard. Best question of the night.
At least last question of the night.
Okay. 8 wins? Yes.
I would say 8 wins.
Okay.
8 wins is
minimum.
A 2-win. 8 regular season wins.
That's a lot to ask, but yes, 8.
Because 8 wins shows that you are improved, and
you took that leap.
Right. Well, not even that, but we have a favorable enough schedule. Like I said, according to 247 Sports, Nebraska has tied with Indiana for the second easiest schedule.
Yeah.
We have 4 natural road games because the game against Cincinnati is in Kansas City, which is, let's face it, damn near a home game for us. And then, we have we're at Maryland, at Minnesota, at UCLA, at Penn State. Those are your 4 games. Husker fans are going to travel to UCLA. I mean, you saw this because you went to the USC game. There was a lot of Nebraska fans there.
Yeah.
Because A, it's going to be November and they're going to want to get out of the cold. And 2, it's the, I don't want to say glitz and glamour, but it's the history behind the Rose Bowl. You're going to play that game in Pasadena. You're going to go to Penn State. I've already said I don't have any factual information, but I believe that's going to end up being a primetime game somewhere. It's going to be under the lights at Happy Valley. And then you go on the road at Maryland, on the road at Minnesota. But you have USC, Northwestern, Iowa, Michigan State, Houston Christian, Akron, all at home. And then Cincinnati in Kansas City. So
yeah, we hardly ever have to travel. It's crazy.
I would say, honestly, I say 8 wins minimum.
Me too.
And look realistically, look to 10. I would say.
Wow. Okay.
I would say 8 is the minimum. 10 should be the expectation.
There you go. You heard it here. Good job, Greg.
All right. So any I mean, I think there's one more start comment. I didn't start. You started this one.
I did.
I can't believe it. This has been a conversation, ongoing off-air debate. But living in Omaha, David Matney's going to get me in trouble. The official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast says, "Newsflash: this is still Greg's show."
It's Greg's show. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, for sure. Thank you.
All right. I think that'll do it, Minnie. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a great time. And at 11:11, it's a good time to call it a night. So with all that being said, once again, a expression of sincere gratitude for all of you Holger maniacs who join us each and every Thursday night. Whether you join us each and every Thursday night, or whether you are hit or miss, whether you've never heard of us before and you happen to cross Husker YouTube, Husker Facebook, Husker X, Twitter, whatever, and you're joining us for the first time, thank you. I like to say that you have a lot of entertainment options, and we hope that you come back and visit us again. So for Minnie Hunt, thank you for all that you do for this show. Minnie, thank you for being here as well. The format. So much in the format this week, and we got through all of it except for that chunk in the middle that you deleted sometime in the middle of the show. Thank you for all you do. I'm Greg Mahachko. That is Minnie Hunt. This is the 5 Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week to make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And that 5 Heart is all the heart. Damn it, Kaylee! I was this close to getting out of the show. It's not that big of a head.
Hey, guys. Happy birthday, Fred, and go Big Red.
Well, yeah, and 5 Heart is all the heart you need. I didn't even get that part out because Kaylee interrupted me. It's all Kaylee's fault.
Okay, come on.
It's all Kaylee's fault.